We them broke boys from the hood. We on them missions, understood. Won't catch us lacking, we that good. We always winning like we should. We flying high, we butterfly up to the sky. No way you catching us, goodbye. Pray to God we make it out alive.
Yeah, it's gonna be a crazy festival experience, bro. And I mean, just to think about it, I mean, what's one of the biggest like festival experiences you've been to yourself?
If I'm being honest, like I haven't been to too many, like especially outside of Fresno. I would say Grizzly Fest when they were first starting things. That was definitely crazy. I think it was because it was like one of the first actual festivals for Fresno that was going on. So it was very, very, very new. So like with that, it had that factor like, it hasn't been done before. You know what I mean? So at least to that caliber. So yeah, definitely that. Outside of Fresno, I've been to like some Latin events in San Francisco that were pretty dope.
Okay, word.
Yeah.
So who are you most excited to see at Dog Days?
Okay, so I had the pleasure of working with Devin and helping him, you know, just kind of like point the finger in the right direction of getting artists, especially for the Casa Amigos stage, being that I'm like performing there. I'm also helping coordinate and stuff like that. And there's this artist that I had the pleasure of like just linking up with here in town, actually, at Fulton 55, I want to say like a year ago.
Okay.
And he's an amazing artist. Since then, he's been making crazy strides. He goes by the name of Primo.
Okay.
And he's from Colombia, way of Canada. You know what I mean? So, like, he's definitely an artist that I'm excited to see come out here from. He's actually in Miami working really tough right now. Just putting and stringing records together that are just crazy.
I believe it. We were supposed to
next up.
Yeah, I believe it. We were definitely supposed to meet up to do an interview, but he's just been so busy, and I don't know if he's going to show up the day of because I have a lot of people.
Yeah. Well, he's actually in Miami as we speak, so he's not going to be coming into town until the day of. Yeah, we'll definitely be able to. I'm pretty sure we'll be able to string something together a little after.
For sure. Yeah, because like even going over the schedule with Kesey, we've been just dialing in, making sure it's all perfect and shit because it's a big thing for us, and it's a huge thing for Fresno.
Exactly.
So we're definitely going to be like, hey, on 10. You know?
I think the night of Fulton 55 when Primo was here, people didn't really know who he was just yet, especially that being his first time here in Fresno, period. And he was able to still, nonetheless, get the crowd that wasn't familiar with his music to be on their feet, dancing the whole time. And I think to me, that said a lot. You know what I'm saying? That said everything that needed to be said in a way. You know what I mean? So, like, with that being said, you know, we're giving him a bigger platform this time around. He's going to come to Fresno on a much bigger scale to perform for, you know what I'm saying? So I'm just happy that I was able to some way facilitate his way out here to Fresno, you know what I mean? So
huge congratulations for that.
Definitely, definitely.
But before we go ahead and continue this episode, I know we kind of just dove right into it. I just want to say real quick big shout out to Never Trusted for being the sponsor, and a huge shout out to Soulito for coming today.
Man, appreciate y'all for having me. Man. Definitely
you coming, man.
Yeah.
So, please tell the listeners and the viewers who you are and what you represent.
I want to say I do my part in representing Fresno. Just on the Latin side, you know what I'm saying, of music. You know, Fresno's definitely known for, you know, the greats like Fashawn and Planet Asia and stuff like that. You don't really hear too much about artists from, you know, different genres kind of doing the thing. So I feel like I'm helping bring a different angle, a different tunneling, a different system of just, you know, viewership to the city by being a representation of, you know, what is Latinos in Fresno, you know what I'm saying? So like, I think, you know, it's definitely something that I've always been very prideful about, you know, the culture, you know, being Mexican American and stuff like that. So like, with that being said, I'm a Spanish pop and R&B / reggaeton artist from Fresno, California, born and raised. And I love the city and I love what it's, you know, made me. To this day. So
yes, sir. What part of Fresno did you grow up in?
Man, I was everywhere, bro. You know, like it was a little tough at first. You know, we spoke a little briefly about it privately about me having aspirations to be a professional soccer player, and with that, there was a lot of sacrifice that my family had to make. So we were forced to be, you know, moving and, you know, from place to place for a little bit. But like we did have, you know, I grew up by Hoover the majority of my life, like literally right around the corner on San Ramon Street. And yeah, that's where I can remember like some of the best memories I've ever had in my life as a kid. But yeah, just bouncing around a lot, you know. But yeah, I feel like that's what helped me really take into consideration what Fresno is from every angle. To be able to say that I've been here, I've been on the east side, I've been on the west, I've been on the north. We've really been like everywhere, you know what I'm saying? So like, yeah, it's crazy.
That's tight, man. That's cool to hear, man. And again, it's an amazing thing. And for you to open up and say being a Mexican American, are you first generation?
Yes, actually, yeah, first generation.
So I'm first generation as well. So how's that pressure? How is that to deal with?
The phrase that it really, you know, encompasses like what we have to deal with as being first generation is you're not Mexican enough for the Mexicans when you're in Mexico, and you're not American enough for the Americans when you're in America. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that alone right there. I think it's very what's the word, overlooked as being a Mexican American man myself, growing up in the system that is the U.S. and society. It kind of like, you know, we get put in a box and stuff like that, and you know, for you to try to come out of that box, it's a lot harder than for most. You know what I mean? So like, with that being said, it also for me, like finally being able to say that I'm crawling my way out of there. Like, you know what I mean? I'm not the type of person that says I'm already out. You know what I mean? I still have, you know, a lot of things to do, a lot of strides to make in my personal life, just as much as my music. But I love the fact that where I'm at today is able to tell the story of who I am as a person, as an artist, and just taking me, you know, out of that box. You know what I'm saying? Pulling myself out of that box and proving to Americans and Mexicans in Mexico and Americans in America that, you know, we have a specific culture, but it is a culture that's worth listening to.
Yes, sir.
There's a lot of artists, musically, artists that paint, you know what I'm saying, that are influenced from both cultures, both sides of the border, you know what I mean? And I think that's something that's underrated. Not too many people talk about it because of the fact that we're like, you know, in the middle, we're 50-50. We're not really this or really that. But in reality, where we are at in the middle is actually something. You know what I'm saying? It is something, you know, so that's where I'm at with it.
Yeah, hell yeah. So I've asked this question to other people that I've had on because of being first generation. What do your parents think about what you do?
Okay.
Because I grew up in a household where they're like, what the fuck are you doing?
I already know where you're going with it. You know, it's crazy because it's true, man. Like Mexicans, Mexicanos that came from Mexico, you know what I'm saying, and came here, wherever it is in the country, they all have the same, you know, stigma, and they have the same, you know, just direction with their minds that if it doesn't make money now, it doesn't matter now. You know what I mean? Like, you have to come out here, go to college, you know, get as great of an education as you can and make as much money as possible to take care of your family. Like, and it's a beautiful thing, don't get me wrong. You know what I mean? So at first, it was a struggle to like, at first, I had aspirations to be a professional soccer player. And I was this close. I had my dreams in my hand, and I got scouted to go play in Guadalajara, Jalisco. Stayed out there for a little bit for Tecos de Guadalajara. And I came back here and was supposed to be in the U.S. for only 3 more months and go back out there and stay there in Mexico to play for the team or for the, you know, the younger youthful system. And I fractured my ankle. You know, and then with that came a new direction, a new, like, you know, I've always was passionate about singing, but now it's like, that's what you got to do, you know what I mean? So I just went all the way in with it. And yeah, like that stigma did definitely kind of like hold me back at times. My parents, you know, as supportive as they are, you know, in general, there were some moments where it was like, hey, is that really going to be what you want to do with the rest of your life? You're going to invest as much time as you already have, money, you know, everything. This doesn't seem realistic, you know what I mean? But today, it's a completely different picture. My dad, who is one of the, you know, hardest people to convince, is my biggest supporter, bro. Like he like me and him. So I'm a painter. I paint houses, interior, exterior. JB's Quality Painting. Give us a call. You know what I mean? But me and my dad, we work with each other, and back in the day, it was like always scoldings of you need to go back to school, go do this, do that. Today, it's different. Today, it's like, put on a beat and let's write some music, and we're not leaving work today, you know, without writing some new stuff. You know what I mean? And it's like that push and the fact that I've been so, you know, about it as of recently these last couple years, he's seen it and he's wanting to be a part of it. You know what I mean?
That's beautiful, man.
Yeah, you have no idea, man.
Yeah,
it's
no, I
crazy
can only
to be where I'm at
imagine
with it
because
today.
a lot of the Hispanic fathers, I mean, I can only imagine because they come from a system where their grandparents didn't teach them that. Mm-hmm. They were very stern. Like my grandpa, his philosophy was, I'm a plant whatever we get, papaya, mango, whatever we sell, and the earnings that I get, I'm dipping. I'm leaving for the week.
Yeah.
And he would go spend it on booze or hoes. That was the motto.
Yeah,
so
no, you're not lying.
So like for my dad, he had trouble with being a dad, being a father, because he didn't have a role model or a mentor.
Right.
It was like, well, I'm 13 years old, and now I have to figure out how to take care of all my other siblings and my mom.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, no, that's tough because like, you know, that's in Mexico, it's like it's easy to fall into that. I don't want to say that, you know, like it's a big representation of our people because it really isn't, because our people, they work hard no matter what. We could go, we could get drunk as hell, you know what I'm saying?
Still
from Friday night to Sunday night. But come Monday at 7 a.m., we're either out on the fields or we're out on the ladder, we're on the roof, we're painting your houses and we're picking your fruit. You know what I mean? So like, you know, with that being said, it's like that is what is the bigger picture and representation of our people.
Yes, sir.
And what we do as a people and as a race and as a culture for the world. I think it's a beautiful thing. So, you know, I'm glad and I'm very prideful about being, you know, Mexicano, Americano. So it's a blessing.
Absolutely. I agree, man. I agree. I grew up working in the fields. I started working in the fields when I was 13 years old.
Yeah, definitely.
Trying to make something, you know, and helping out the family. And again, like my dad taught me, like, hey, you want to be doing all this stupid shit, aprende. You're going to learn how it is to make money.
Yeah.
And the hard way, but it didn't really teach me anything because it taught me how to be like, you know what? I want to continue working. Fuck school.
Yeah.
I just want I love to work.
Yeah.
And ever since, I mean, it's given me the drive and the hunger that I've never would have thought that you use to fuel.
Yeah.
And you learn to deal with. I say this to anybody: is you can hop in the fields, and if you can handle that work, you can handle whatever work after that.
Very true. I say the same thing about just the culture and music about Fresno, because we all know that, like, you know, like we fall under the stigma of like Fresno just being being known for a certain type of sound, and if you don't, you know, follow suit, then you're automatically not in the talks. You know what I'm saying? So like, if you can make it out of Fresno, you can make it anywhere, really. You know what I'm saying? Because Fresno shows love if it's like you just really gotta be, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And like, not to say that it's not a good or bad thing, but at the same time, it's like we have to create a better foundation for the artist to feel like they can do what it is that they want to do and not feel like they're being left behind or not going to be highlighted. You know what I'm saying? Fresno's starting to become a bigger hub for everything. You know, we have, you know, athletes from colleges and high schools that we grew up with that are playing in the NBA and the NFL, you know what I'm saying? So like athletically, you know what I'm saying, musically too, you know what I'm saying? Sean F is doing great things, you know what I mean? So like, we got a lot of people, Young Echo, like a lot of people, my boy, shout out to my boy JD and shout out to my boy Emmanuel, YTS, Brian K. There's so many people out here that are doing so many crazy things and they do different things, you know what I mean? And I feel like these are the people that are the pioneers of the hub that we need to create for the future artists of Fresno, you know what I mean? So there's, you know what I mean? So there's like diversity, not just within, you know, races doing music, but like culture of music, you know what I mean? Directions, R&B, you know, like rap, you know, like just street stuff, just like everything, really, you know what I mean?
Yeah, literally. We just had a phone call with one of the, I would say, the hottest right now in the gangster rap, in the hood rap right now. And just to see, like, you know what, Fresno has a lot of representation. You said it yourself, a lot of cultural diversity. And that just enlightens that, you know, this whole thing with Dog Days, it's going to, I would say, even elevate all the other artists and maybe hopefully inspire other people to continue.
That's what I definitely love what Devin is doing. Like literally, as soon as we spoke about his vision, his idea, you know what I'm saying, when it was still just, you know, an idea, you know what I mean, before it really got legs, I literally seen everything that he was saying and just like everything was just pixelating. You know what I'm saying, in my head. And I was like, dude, I love it. You know what I mean? I love what you're doing. I love the fact that you're taking this to a park that, so many different festivals have already been, and, kind of cemented themselves, like Taco Throwdown, places like that, and things like that, Tequila Fest.
Yeah.
It's hard, bro. It's extremely hard. Just imagine to do something, an event as big as this one, Daze Fest, with 3 stages, you know what I mean? With 3 different stages at that. You got 3 different cultures. You got the Casa Amigos stage where you can find your boy Soulito at. You got the hyphy stage, you know what I mean, where you're going to see a lot of local talent and big-time talent, Pilo, all them folks, you know what I mean? And then, of course, you got the Dog Days official stage, you know what I mean? So it's like what Devin is doing here is honestly really big for the city, you know what I mean? For the artists of the city, for the creatives of the city, so shout out to Devin, shout out to everybody that's a part of the Dog Days festival, camp, and just September 6th is going to be something special, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
1000%, man. Another thing is I wanted to ask you in regards to like what happens after Dog Days, where do you see yourself after this event?
Oh, so that's a really good question. Honestly, bro, it's just the beginning. That's the crazy part. Yeah, this past Friday was a great motivator, and it put me into the understanding that this could be the rest of my life. I was able to perform on the news on KMPH, Fox 26 Great
Huge
Day.
Congratulations on that, man. Because I saw that and I was just like, this is insane.
Yeah, no, it was super dope. Shout outs to my boy Styles and Chris from the station out there for having me on there. This is a beautiful thing. So from going from there to, getting the party bus situated where I invited a lot of, beautiful people from the city to come out and be a part of this music video for my first single that's going to be titled Super Completa, which should be dropping this week, hopefully this Friday or Saturday. So, that way it'll be out either the day before Dog Days or the day of. So y'all be on the lookout for that. It's going to be out on everything. Yeah. But I should be dropping promo for that. So, that night, I also opened up for Danny Flo and Modesto, and that was a packed out show. Yeah. So I was able to go out there and represent and catch all these vibes. I took out a videographer named TME Visions. Shout out to TME. And he's helping me, grasp this first visual to my first single officially as Soulito. Anybody that knew me before knows that I used to go by J Soul. So there might be some records out there floating around still, but this new character, this new, I want to say just this new entity that I've become is really what I want to say me. I found a way to really, put who J Soul was and who I always was at core into an artist, and with the name of Soulito coming from the moniker J Soul, I found a way to kind of mesh that in there too. So,
yes, sir.
What comes from after Dog Days Fest is just a lot more music, a lot more visuals. Start seeing me and getting ready to see me on, bigger shows, tours. God willing, I'll be, representing Fresno in the way that it needs to be represented. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah, you're already doing it as it is, bro. So
appreciate you, bro.
Keep shining, keep growing, man. It's only going up from here.
Hell yeah, hell yeah.
And that's good, man. And seeing a first generation Mexican American to change the game and represent Fresno. Hey, man, I want the best success for you, and I wish the best for you, bro, because that's incredible, bro.
Hell yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing being able to see artists come from the soil of Fresno and really put on, bro. It's easy to be one of those people that are like, oh yeah, I came from here, but I'm trying to be out here like in Miami or New York or something like that. And it's like, I mean, yeah, but you got to remember where you grew up from. And that's the humbleness, bro.
Yeah, facts. Like, well, it's easy to talk shit about a city like ours, man. Cause there is a lot of good and a lot of bad that happens here. You know what I'm saying? But like, if you go anywhere, it's like that. You know what I mean? Yes. They know we're perfect. You know what I mean? And you got to appreciate, if you don't fuck with who you are, I mean, if you don't fuck with your city, then you can't say that you fuck with who you are, because you are a product of your surroundings. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So if you're saying fuck Fresno, you're technically saying fuck you. You know, to yourself.
Right.
Look at yourself in the mirror and say that next time, because you can't say fuck the city without saying fuck yourself.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So like, you got to appreciate everything. You know what I'm saying? The good and the bad, and find a way to mold something out of it that you could, be proud of. You know what I mean? Whether if it's a product, whether if it's a voice, whether if it's, art, and whatever it is,
Right.
you just got to make something out of nothing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, hell yeah.
It's easy to make something when you have all the tools, but it's beautiful when it comes from a place where you got to create the tools to be able to create the vision.
Right.
And that's where we come from, the mud. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to all the artists from Fresno that are coming out from the mud and doing what they got to do. You know what I'm saying, to set themselves apart. It's not easy, but we're doing it. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah. Who's an artist that you would love to work with or have a collab with?
As far as local or just
It could
anywhere?
be whoever you want, bro.
Okay. I'll start off by saying local. Locally, I would like to work, and it's gonna happen. My boy Emmanuel YTS, shout out to him. JD, we got some like stuff in the works that we're talking about getting together. Yeah. But I want to work with like different artists too. Being that I have the duality of being able to do Spanglish, some stuff in English and in Spanish. You know what I mean? I want to work with, anybody who kind of like has that like soulful R&B feel. You know what I mean? So like, Kiki the Brat is dope too. Shout out to Kiki, my boy Visionary too. But as far as like big artists, I consider my boy Primo a big artist. He's still on his way. He's a humble cat too. He would tell you otherwise that he's not there yet. But in my eyes, this guy's got his music being played all around the world. So, shout out to Primo. I'd love to work with him one day.
Shout out.
And of course, artists like Raul Alejandro, Fade, Bad Bunny. You know what I'm saying? Artists like that of that caliber.
What's up, everybody? This episode is sponsored by the one, the only, Never Trusted. Never Trusted is a brand here based out of Fresno. Check out this hat. Look how beautiful this hat looks. This is all suede. This is the brown. This is the grizzly hat. They have incredible designs. Not only do they have hats, but they also have beanies. They also have shirts, shorts, socks, lo que quieras. Every design has a little background to it. So yeah, go ahead and check them out. Their link is going to be in the description of all the episodes. They are sponsoring Dog Days as well. So big shout out. A lot of this wouldn't be possible without any of your guys' help. So go ahead, support them, give them a follow. Now back to the episode.
I want to say that one day I'm going to get there. You know what I mean? But I'm not there yet, but I'm working to be in the talks of those circles, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
yeah.
Put it out there, but speak it into existence.
Exactly.
And it will happen, bro. Trust.
Yeah.
The way that you're going and listening to music, and I listened to some of it, and I was just like, wow, like this is incredible. I never heard any other reggaeton artist here in Fresno.
Yeah.
So for you to do that, it definitely enlightened me, and I was just like, oh, okay, like. And like you said Spanish wasn't your first language. I was like, hold on, your Spanish sounds way better than mine.
No, I'm gonna tell you, I had to work at it, and I'm still working. I'm not perfect with it, I'll be honest, but I'm working and I'm working diligently. You know what I'm saying? To be a good representation of both cultures. Being a Mexican American, I want to be able to represent both cultures, not just one. I'm not a one-sided person.
Right.
I feel just as American as I do Mexican. You know what I mean? So with that being said, the next couple months with the records to come out, I'm gonna start kind of like just giving piece by piece a little bit more of who I am. You know what I'm saying? With every record, a lot of these first records are gonna be fun, just because I want everybody to have fun and kind of take from me that I'm somebody that's capable of making you get on your feet, dance your ass off, all that. But then after that, I do definitely got some records that are gonna be a little bit more close to home. You know what I'm saying? Be a little bit more of a representation of my duality as a Mexican American, as a Spanglish artist. You know what I mean? So I can't wait to get to that part of the rollout.
Yeah.
Can't wait to see it, man. That's gonna be beautiful, bro.
Yeah, man, I'm excited.
Absolutely.
2025 and 2026 is gonna be, honestly, this month is the start of the rest of everything.
Yeah,
come, you know what I mean?
It's like a pivot. That's what it is.
Everything that I've worked so hard for these last 2 years, cultivating the new sound, that makes sense with the new image and the new name. And, you know, I definitely got some pounds to shed, you know what I'm saying? I love being a, you know, representation of a big back that can still get some.
Trust me, man. I'm the same way.
I ain't gonna hold you.
I can't
we're
be
winning out here. And it's gonna get cold, ladies, so, you know, you need some.
You need some.
You know what I'm saying? You need something gonna really warm you up, so.
Yeah, I can't relate. Y'all
But
I'm sorry.
DJ's the torta pounder out here, bro.
Nah, listen, y'all didn't hear that. Cut that out.
But yeah, man, nonetheless, it's, you know, it's a beautiful thing to be able to, like, you know, finally start getting to dropping music finally. Anybody that knows me as J Soul will tell you, this guy's had the talent all the time, just it never drops anything, you know? And like, and I get it, but like, it's because I'm that hard on myself about the quality and caliber that I want to be at. And I feel like I've been at it the last year, so it's like, at one point I was like scared to drop music. Now I'm like scratching my damn self, my neck and my head, everything, like we gotta drop. But luckily I have management. Shout out to Fo Records, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to my boy Leo, my manager.
Shout out.
My boy TJ Maximili, my boy Fo, Lil Fo, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to the whole camp, and they're definitely helping me out with this rollout, helping me with the nerves and trying to, you know, calm myself to get to that point. But nonetheless, this is the month that, you know, starts that train, you know what I mean? So like, don't want to get off the track with that once that starts rolling, you know what I mean? So that's what we've been working hard for these last 2 years.
Hell yeah.
To make sure that once we start dropping and once those, you know, those tracks start going, it don't stop.
That's right. It sounds like you got yourself prepared for some pretty big success, bro. And Dog Days being the biggest part of it is like, it's amazing to see this. And I'm excited to see all the artists that are going to be performing there from Fresno and some of the other local artists being able to grow from this. I mean, it's a great growth opportunity. And I think the collaborations that's about to happen after the fact is going to be so game changing, bro.
Yeah, because there's going to be a lot more artists that are going to become more aware of their surroundings and other surrounding artists, you know what I'm saying, that, you know, like, it's crazy because people seen my name up there and like on the flyer and just, you know, like, to me, it's like, oh, I'm excited to be a part of this. But then to other people, it's like, wow, you made it. Like, well, you're on your way. I'm like, I mean, thank you. I didn't even think about it like that. Like, but I'm glad that you feel and think about like things or see things that way, because like, to me, it's like business, and it's like I'm thinking about it wholeheartedly with the excitement of getting on that stage and representing who I am and what I do. You know what I'm saying? So I'm forced to get locked in. You know what I mean? I'm not yet celebrating. I feel like I'm in Kobe time. You know what I mean? Where the game ain't won over. It's not won. It's not, you know, we haven't, the game ain't over. It hasn't even started. So once, you know, September 6th comes and, you know, strike 10 o'clock, you catch your boy live on the Casa Amigos stage, and, you know, after that I could celebrate and really take everything in at that point. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah. We're excited to highlight that during the day of, man. We got some exciting plans for the day of.
Yeah.
It's going to be something crazy. And
hopefully we can get to see you come on by real quick before or after, you know, because we're going to be out there. We're going to take all the equipment. We're going to be out there live at the podcast. So
yeah, no, definitely. We could, I'll definitely lock in with you guys. I'll make sure to bring my boy Primo out there too. Tap in with y'all, you know what I'm saying? I think it'd be a great,
we would love to.
thing.
And when you're performing too, like we'll try to be out there too. I know we got the VIP and Kesey got the press access, so we're gonna try to get to catch all the local artists in action for sure.
Right.
And then hopefully one of us could toss the GoPro or something. Be like, hey, go ahead, show out.
Well, listen, no hard feelings if you can't catch my set, because like I said, I feel like there's a start, and there's going to be a lot more to come, you know what I mean? So, if you don't catch it the night of, you know, I'm definitely going to start putting in the work till I could be on bigger shows like this consistently, you know, moving forward. So
yeah, and you're on the right track, man. And just like you said, seeing your name on the flyer, that's one step. That should give you more of the hunger, more of the drive. I had this conversation with Blair, the captain, the last time that we had him on.
Shout out to the boy.
Shout out to the boy, because his name is on the flyer, and I told him, I was like, how does that feel? What's that feeling like? You know, to be out there and be like, oh shit, I'm on the flyer. My name's on the flyer. And it's just like, hey, one of these days you're gonna be the headliner.
That's honestly where we want to get to. You know, like, I feel like every artist, if they're, you know, they want to say be realistic, but I feel like it is realistic to want to be the headliner. You know what I'm saying? Because you got to be your biggest, you know, fan as much as your biggest critic. You know what I'm saying? So you know, if you don't have aspirations to be on the biggest stages, you know what I'm saying, that's fine. But at the same time, you know, there's a lot of dedication and passion that intertwines and kind of like starts clicking in your mind when your aspirations are as big as they are.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? When you start dreaming big, you're forced to have to do big. You know what I'm saying? If you think small, then you're not really moving 110%. You know what I'm saying? So like to those that have big dreams, you know what I'm saying? You just, you're putting a lot of big steps in ahead of you that you need to take and then you need to make and not be scared to move, wholeheartedly in those steps. You know what I mean? So like, that's all it is.
That's a beautiful setup, man, because I want to ask you if you had the opportunity to give anybody advice to getting into this, what's something that you would tell them?
To music, I would say don't be afraid to be experimental in all aspects of music. I mean, down to your voice. Like, it's crazy. I've been doing this for a while, and I feel like just the last 1.5 to 2 years, I really started pushing the lines of what I can do with my voice through experimentation. I feel like all artists, they have an automatic direction in their mind, what they want to do, and they only want to do that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Which is cool. A lot of artists, have only worked on one thing and still managed to become great, you know what I mean? But at the same time, I feel like the best of artists have been the artists that have stretched their vocals left, right, up, down, diagonally, you know what I'm saying? And not only their vocals, but their understanding and their writing schemes and even the beat selections, you know what I mean? Like,
yes, sir.
What I would say is be experimental, be as experimental as possible, be the Bill Nye science guy of music, you know what I'm saying? So like you could really find what it is that you excel in. Right. Sometimes it ain't what you love to do personally that's gonna take you there. You know what I'm saying? Right. Like I hear it more often than not that artists like they get popping off a record that they didn't even like. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think what comes from that is the experimentation. Like,
yes.
They didn't like the record and they still put it out there.
Right.
They still put it out there. Why? In hopes that somebody's gonna like it and fucked around and everybody liked it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you got to put yourself in a position to like be experimental and try different things because you never know what it is that's gonna take you there. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah.
I think that's a beautiful way to put it. I mean, I look at artists like Tyler the Creator and Trippie Redd who have done the same things, and it's like, not everything is gonna hit.
Yeah,
I think Trippie's looked at some of his experiments and was like, "Bro, I probably should have never dropped that." But I mean, look where
I always
it's at.
think of Juice WRLD. Juice WRLD
too
hated "Robbery." That was his number one hit, and he hated that song.
Yeah.
And he was just like, he just put it out there, and it became his number one fucking hit.
A lot of artists have that story. It's funny, you know what I mean? But like, I think that says a lot. We're all very, when you're an artist, a true artist, you're very, very, very particular with your own work. You know what I'm saying? Like what it is that you feel wholeheartedly represents what you are and who you are. And sometimes you just make records for fun, but it's like we forget that in those records of fun, you know what I mean? Like you're in the studio and you're having fun, and like I think people feel that. You know what I'm saying? I think the reason why people gravitate towards the records where you just feel like you're just being funny, you're having fun with it, like the people could hear that in the music, and that's what gravitates them to liking that record over the other ones. Right. It's not to say that the other records that you did that you feel like you put way more of yourself into weren't as good, but you also have to understand that it's up for interpretation. You know what I mean? Like people are the consumers of what it is that you do. You know what I'm saying? And like they're not all gonna consume it the same. You know what I mean? Some people consume it differently. And with that being said, I feel like when you can make a record like that, be happy. Be glad that you were able to make people talk about this record as much as they talked about it on the level, on the span, the mass of people that are talking about that record. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, you might not like it, but shit, you made something that the people love, and that's good.
Fuck yeah.
And I think it helps the artists really be able to adapt and how do they say, spread their palette, right? You're able to expand from what you're normalized to, and sometimes that's the awakening people need.
Yeah,
I've met so many younger, I got a homie who produces and he's making his own music. He's master production, singer, rapper, and all that. And he's like, I want my specific sound. I want this, I want that. And I'm like, hey, that's amazing, bro. Push it out there. But remember, it's not all gonna pop. Not all of this is gonna flow and be on the radio. And
I think also too, it's like it gives you I don't know, because like a lot of people have different looks on this, but I personally think that when you're able to kind of do different things and do them at a really good level,
Right.
it's better for you, because then you could kind of like fall into different categories, right?
Right.
But then there's people that have this conversation or have this, interpretation of it where, on the level of labels. Labels don't like to like get an artist that can do a bunch of things. They can excel in one thing. Most importantly, that they're coachable and that they're open-minded enough to be able to like be taken to certain different realms of music. You know what I mean? But with that being said, if you're the artist, the type of artist like myself right now, where you're trying your best to do as much as you can indie, you know what I'm saying, with the people that you grew up with, you know what I'm saying, not these big time labels,
Right.
this is the time for you to really experiment. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Go back to that word, experiment. It's very important because of the fact that it helps you find avenues about yourself as an artist and as a person, with your voice and your kind of like lane. And you find it sooner. If you start like we're going back to that question, what would be the best advice? I think that's the best advice, period.
Yeah.
Period. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, because the fact that if you tell somebody early on in their career that, then they have a big advantage in starting to take that wholeheartedly and start just experimenting. I'm gonna try this, that, and the third. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're gonna find themselves at a much earlier age and in an earlier time in their musical career, to where now they're gonna start pumping out some crazy shit, bro. Like that's really the start. Like he said too, he used a word earlier, awakening.
Yeah.
Solo leveling. I don't know if you're familiar, bro, but it's an anime. Like there's this thing where like they said that you're all born with just a single power, and you can't maximize that power. The power is what it is, and that's it. But then there's people that have an awakening. I feel like that in the realm of music, it's when you really, really, really take your whole experience from your past, your present, and start thinking about, and it starts meshing into what becomes your future with music. You know what I mean? Like, because you're now starting to just, you're starting to see it differently. You're starting to be like, oh, I'm comfortable in trying different things.
Right.
When you get comfortable in trying different things, you're unstoppable, bro. Like you're gonna find something that people are gonna like eventually, because you're trying. You know what I mean? So.
Right. And don't be afraid of the embarrassment. That's another thing. People are like, oh, I feel like people are going to cringe at this. Remember that post I reposted on Instagram? It's always cringe until you're the next top artist, you're the next biggest thing. Because you did something that you thought was cringe, but it ended up being the biggest shit that everybody thought was cool, bro.
Very true. There's a lot of artists that say the same thing. Bad Bunny being one of them. I seen his somewhat of a documentary where he was talking about how, he was getting shot down by so many labels growing up, and just people telling him that is never gonna pop. That's never gonna happen. That's never gonna happen. You might as well stop doing music. And he's one of the biggest artists in the history of, not just the Latin,
but in all genres.
Yeah, in all genres, bro.
Right.
He was just in the talks to being up there with Michael Jackson to sell out just as much as he did. You know what I mean? That's a Latin artist. You know what I mean? So, that's what we're aspiring to be. We want to get on that level. So, with that being said, you guys should be expecting a lot more from Soulito soon. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah, man. You're gonna be there one day, and I'm glad. Thank you again for making time to come through and being a part of this.
Thank you guys so much.
I appreciate your time, and I appreciate you. And you are going to be such a huge inspiration to all these other youngins that want to be into this stage. So thank you again for your time,
Yeah,
bro.
definitely, man. Appreciate you guys for having me, man.
Absolutely. Thank you, man.
Yeah, appreciate you. Yeah, likewise, man. Thank you. Hey, see you guys September 6th, Dog Days Fest. Don't miss out. Casa Amigos, catch your boy Soulito live at 10 o'clock. All right, let's go.
Absolutely. Y'all already know. Much love. Take care. Peace.